Hey, family. This is my first time doing a YouTube live, so welcome, welcome. Um, this is interesting. This is so strange. I'm not used to this, but I actually want to be doing this a lot more often. So figured why not start today? Um, there was like so much heaviness going on in my life the last little while that I've been really like bottling up and keeping under wraps. And um, the way I process things for those who maybe have been following for a while or have worked with me, or for those who are new here, I am very big on like introspection and facing everything head on and really looking at what's going on, where these things are coming from, why we're feeling a certain way. And yet I started to notice that I was getting pulled into some of my own patterns and constantly going through these things over and over again. And um, like coming up against this resistance or this wall. And you can let me know in the comments if you can relate. I'm sure you can, where we we you know keep doing the same thing, and when it happens you maybe say, you know what, I'm never going to do this again. I've learned my lesson. I'm going to make a change, and I'm going to do it this way instead, or I'm going to take this kind of action or take the higher road or the new path. And yet then, maybe we take some strides for a little bit, and eventually we kind of find ourselves back at the beginning where you're like literally in that pattern all over again. And so, again, let me know if you can relate to that. That's kind of where I found myself, where this morning yeah, I promote alignment. I promote intuition and learning how to trust yourself and quieting the noise in your mind. I promote, being limitless, realizing that there really is no limitation other than what we believe there is, and whatever we're giving power to, we basically create our own limitations, is how I see it. And I do firmly, firmly believe that. And yet, I had this moment this morning where I realized like I haven't necessarily been fully living it to the extent that I wanted to, because I've been feeling so limited in my own business for like years now, like literally since I started it, because we're constantly saturated. And this can relate to you whether it's in businesses or relationships or like your lifestyle or anything really. But I feel like we're constantly pushed this idea of how you need to do things or how you should show up or what is the right way in order to achieve what it is you want to achieve. And we're constantly chasing after something, um, and thinking that we have to like do it a certain way in order to get there. And more often than not, this is a huge cause of anxiety for people, a huge cause of, depression or disconnect or burnout, because you're pushing and trying to force something that isn't in alignment to your heart or to your soul, right? And it's just like there's only so long you can do something that's out of alignment before you crack. And by no means by no means do I feel like I cracked, but I just really feel like I've been living a bit of a lie around the things that have felt the most aligned for me for years now. I haven't been doing them nearly as much as I want to, because I've been doing what I think I should be doing. And if anyone watching this has their own business or is in coaching space or anything like that, I'm sure you can relate as well. For me, it's like I feel like they're always putting you into a box. And I mean, I do business coaching, and when I teach it to my clients, I'm very, very firm around like loving, but firm around like, hey, business can work a million different ways. What's going to be the most exciting? What's going to feel the best for you? Like, what is natural and easy and fun? Because that's going to be the obviously the most natural, the easiest, and the fun thing to build. and therefore you're in a really good vibrational alignment to succeed with it. If we're forcing anything, we're gonna create a lot more problems down the road, and I talk this, I teach this, I share this with other people, and yet in my own life and business, I was still, like, so freaking trapped. So trapped by what other people say or do, or this is the way that it's gonna work, and, jumping from one thing to the next constantly, and it was exhausting. And it got to the point where in November or December, I didn't wanna do any content at all. Fully stopped my YouTube, I fully stopped Instagram, and I just had no creative flow. I had no idea, like, who am I speaking to? What am I talking about? Because the things that feel the best for me and talking to everyone and trying to just help everyone in any way I can, is not what, like, the business coaches would say I would do, you know? And so then I'd create this weird belief, this weird energy around, "Oh, I can't do what I wanna do because it's not gonna succeed. I have to do it their way." And yet their way doesn't feel good, so there's this immediate resistance around showing up or doing those things. And then that's dimming me down, that's making me small. And it reached that point where I didn't even know, like, what I was doing, and still wanting so badly to show up for everyone, but, like, feeling like a failure because I'm not doing enough or because I'm not helping enough people, and then feeling like a failure because I know there's so many things I could talk about or teach or share that would help, and yet I have 0 interest or motivation to create content, and I'm just exhausted and burnt out and tired and overwhelmed, and, it created, like, this very, I cry a lot, so it's all good. Um, it created this very strange feeling of, when you know you're here to do something and you love doing it, but you can't, and then you're kind of just like, "Well, what am I doing then? What's the point?" And, this morning in my meditation, I was asking for some clarity and answers because I just suddenly felt very overwhelmed. Um, I absolutely love what I do. I love coaching and helping people. I absolutely love YouTube. I love talking. I'm a hand talker. I talk way too much with my hands. But I love talking to the camera. I love talking to all of you. I love sharing stuff that I've learned because I've been through a lot of really heavy, really, really heavy times in my life. And I feel very proud of myself, of where I've gotten to and how I've navigated it, and the perspective that I have on life now because of it. And I know that that can help people. And so when you have this like deep calling in your heart and soul that, like, this is what I'm here to do, and yet you're trapped up here listening to what other people say can or cannot work. And then you're letting that dictate how you show up or how you feel each day. It's like you do feel really trapped. And it cuts you off. It cuts you out of your alignment with your true self and your true gifts, your true ability, your true purpose. So if you're someone who maybe you feel like you're not exactly where you want to be, or you feel like you're meant for more and right now you're kind of settling, you feel confused or unsure or stuck in a box, in a limitation from society of this is what you can and can't do, this is how you can show up or you can't show up, these things are acceptable, these things aren't. Even me crying right now, there's a part of me that's like, "Ooh, you can't do that on a video," and, like, people are gonna make comments, or there'll be some who think it's, like, silly, but it's no, that's part of the human experience. We're allowed to experience all of it, and, someone just commented and can relate, and I'm so grateful that you shared that. I can't see it because it's so far away, but I will come back to it right away. It's just it was like a good I always look for the silver linings in these moments because I know they're here to teach us things, and as I said, I feel like I've been in this pattern for a few years now where I try to do things someone else's way. It doesn't feel good. I feel kind of trapped and out of alignment. It doesn't really work fully because of that misalignment. And then I get burnt out or exhausted, or I fall back, or just continue to stay small and dim. And it's like, and then I hit a point where I'm like, okay, this is what you get to do. Make these changes. These things are going to make you feel good. Just go for it. And the second I I make that plan, I journal about it, I write it out, I put it all over my wall, and I'm like, "Yes, this is what I'm gonna do." And I do it for a few days, and the old patterns kick in, and, I start to doubt if it's gonna work that way, or I start to sabotage. We all do that. And then I fall back into a desperate thing of like, I need to do it someone else's way because that is proven to work, and I don't know if this is working, or that's just my example. But um, today felt like that silver lining, that breaking point was like, you have done this for quite some time. And like, this is no longer how it gets to be. You get to do it in a new way. And realizing that, yeah, like anything that makes you feel limited or small is not conducive to your experience on this planet. You are here to be expansive. We're here to be limitless. We're here to be loving every moment of our life, even if there are the downs, because there will be. That's part of the experience. But being able to be grateful and be in alignment and, yeah, feeling good about what you're doing each day is something that we're meant to have. But society has just conditioned us otherwise. And it's made us think that work has to be really hard. That's why it's called work. It's like you have to work to make money instead of like, no, I get to feel good. I get to do stuff I love to make money. And like, oh, you have to match these conditions in order to feel good enough. And it's like, no, but who determined that? And who decided that? And who gets to tell me when I'm enough or when I'm not enough, right? That's all societal conditioning. It's all part of the programming. It's part of the matrix, and it's just part of what we get to now shift. And so, on top of all that, I've been afraid to like show up fully and express these things on my platform, on my YouTube, my Instagram, because it is like I'm open about certain parts that are vulnerable and I can share them quite easily. Um, but I've always been afraid to like draw attention to myself because I don't want it to be like a victim story. And so I usually avoid talking about my stuff. And I want to be that professional coach, and like nobody's going to trust me if I share that I had a bad day. And yet me having the bad day is very relatable. It's very real life. It's very, honest and true and genuine. And so, um, I felt like if I were to talk about these different things openly and honestly, it would take away from the knowledge or the value in my content. And so I've kind of used like my whiteboard. If you've seen any of my other videos, I've kind of used my whiteboard as like a, hey, this is how I get to show up and teach. And so I need to follow this structure. This is the way I get to help people, and this is how it has to be. Instead of like allowing that flow. And some of those videos, like I love my previous videos, so I'm not like dissing them by any means, but I sometimes felt like I was forcing. especially the last time around, I was, like, forcing it a lot instead of just like, "Ooh, this feels really good today, so I'm gonna jump on and film something about it and talk about it." And I can be personal or I can just share helpful things and perspectives and tools. I just, again, felt very limited in what I was creating. And so part of what this video is as like an introduction to what's to come, because it feels really good. And I just got just got like the goosebumps thinking about it. But what's to come is just a lot more honesty and a lot of different topics. Like, I'm just ready to talk about all the things on here, and, if you're here at this point and you're finding this helpful, quickly, please do give it a thumbs up. That does help with the algorithm, helps more people see it. And secondly, if you're someone who has been around on my Instagram for a while, I had so much amazing feedback the last year or so because I was doing daily stories on Instagram where I would share like mindset tips or perspective shifts or like, hey, I was just doing this and my mind started to say this, and here's how I would shift it. Or hey, if you're feeling like this today, you're not alone, and here's some things you can try, right? And I was showing up every day with like these really helpful stories that could be very simple and yet still help create a good shift in people's lives. And I felt really good about that because I felt like I was sharing this knowledge. Otherwise, when I fall into my moments that I talked about earlier where I end up doing no content creation and I like hermit and isolate, I feel like I just get overwhelmed because I have so much I want to share, but I'm like holding it in and it's not being expressed. It feels like there's no purpose at all. Because I'm like, what's the point of me learning these things? And yes, I get to benefit and I feel better. Um, but it could help someone else. And if I'm not sharing it, how am I helping them? I'm not. So I haven't really been doing that on Instagram for a while, and I think this is part of the big change coming forward on YouTube is that at least for May, while I'm living in this beautiful, beautiful home here in California, I think I want to start doing more videos like this every day, potentially. I don't want to I don't want to promise it because if I have a day off, then I'll beat myself up about it. But I really want to show up more on here with tons of different things to help all of you. Mindset, spirituality, and spiritual awakening, like energy work, perspective shifts, different healing tools. I'll still be doing my Course in Miracles readings in those lessons, uh, doing Q&A and little trainings for you on here too. And also showing up more real. I'm just feeling like I want to show up fully. Um, I want to stop hiding or filtering what is acceptable as a coach to share and what isn't acceptable. Um, what parts I can or can't put on here. Like, I don't plan to go crazy, but I just want to be free and to be myself in any given moment, to allow social media to just be an extension of who I am, which it should be, and it is, but it's always been in a limited capacity for fear of showing up fully or fear of breaking that box that I felt like I've been put into. So I really, really hope that this video gives you permission to do the same. So whether you have your own business or you are currently working for someone else, or whether you are feeling limited and small in relationships, partnerships, family dynamics, in your lifestyle in general, I think every single one of us can probably relate in some way to feeling like trapped, feeling like you're living a lie or living a small reflection of your full expansion. That's a beautiful way to put it, I think. Um, and I hope that this video does give you permission to, like, look at where you might be keeping yourself small and realize that right now in this moment, you can choose something different and, to take, like, even one small step in that direction. Just that one step forward of, like, "I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't wanna settle or stay stuck, so here's what I'm gonna do," and then moving that way. So, I hope this helps. Again, if you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up. Please feel free to share, subscribe if you haven't, and keep your eyes peeled because I'm feeling good. I am feeling good. I am feeling so excited about all the things to come. I have pages and pages and pages of notes and ideas and things that I've wanted to share on YouTube for a long time, different things I've wanted to talk about, and instead I've been a broken record about the same few things, which are things I still love, and they're still huge facets, and they're gonna be pillars of this channel and of what I share because that's just naturally who I am and what I do. But I'm ready to, like, kind of break free from feeling limited to only those things and to bring more of this, like, bring more of these just live videos and chat and share and see see what can help, see what can support everyone in this community. So, thank you. I saw another comment, but I don't know how to look at them. So, thank you all. That's beautiful. I'm so glad the videos have helped, honestly. And that's, like, I feel I appreciate that so much, because that's what I feel like has been missing is that because I've been so focused on the limitation and the way I think I have to show up, um, I've forgotten or I haven't allowed myself to be driven by what actually matters and what actually lights me up, which is just, like, connecting with as many people as I can and feeling like I do help in some way, even if it's a small way. So, I'm so glad that the videos have helped you, and I'm excited to start being on here a lot more again so that I can continue to help all of you even more with what's going on. So, I will leave this here. Thank you for watching. Please, if you ooh, good comment, good question. Can you give an example of how your thoughts you had show up? Oh gosh, how do I go back? Bear with me. How do I find the comments? If the thought shows up, let me know if this is what you're asking. If the thought shows up and it doesn't feel in alignment or like, um, so here's the thing is like when things are out of alignment, there is resistance. And I feel like resistance is kind of the best word to use because if you're super excited about something, right? You can just go for it. You feel all in. It's the moments we have the doubt or the fear or insecurities or reminders of past mistakes or traumas or things from childhood where we messed up and we didn't feel good enough. Those are the things that stop us from going after our highest excitement, right? It's just the doubt. It's that negative talk in any form. And through practicing awareness and just starting to pay attention to your thoughts and what's going on up here and what stories you're telling yourself, what you're focusing on each day, then you can start to see like, okay, wait, that thought doesn't actually make me feel good. And is it actually true? You know, and how can I break down where it's coming from? So I practice questioning my thoughts all the time. Obviously, there's still always going to be steps to take. And as I progress and evolve, and there's new things in my life, there's going to be new thoughts and new things that arise. But questioning that and seeing, like, okay, well, now am I operating out of fear or am I operating still from love? And this is, like, one of the key things I try to come back to as much as possible is because we are divine beings, we are literally love in human form, if we can return back to that truth, right? If we can get under all the layers of the conditioning and the fear and the experiences and all that pain and all the programming from society, that's all the baggage, that's all the stuff that's making us, feel limited or feel fearful. Um, what ways you felt limited? Yeah. So I don't feel limited in coaching. I feel so good in my coaching. I felt limited in how I was showing up on social media. Like I felt very limited around what I thought I could or couldn't do on YouTube or Instagram just based on what other business coaches talked about or what marketing people talked about. And like everyone and their dog has an opinion of like how you show up and what's the right way. And I felt like I was kind of trying so many different things over the last few years, trying to find the right one. And it's that is the silver lining is that in doing that, I uncovered and I saw, "Oh, this doesn't feel good, this does, so I'm gonna go here," or "These things worked, these things didn't," right? You learn through those experiences and through the ups and downs, and then you find what does feel best for you. But yeah, I think I just felt, like, so trapped in the ways I thought I had to do things, and yet meanwhile I'm like, anytime I meditate or anytime I connect back to myself and to my mission, I feel so good. And I'm like, I know I'm here to do these things and to share and to help people and to communicate all the things I've learned. But then I wasn't even communicating. um, that's funny. Yeah. So I stopped communicating as well, even though that's the stuff I loved. So I think it was more so of, um, yeah, we're constantly told certain things are the right things when in reality, whatever feels best to you is right. And I feel like that's the key. That's the key takeaway of this long ramble is that um, there is no right way. It's whatever feels right to you. So your right is going to be different than mine. It's going to be different than someone else's. But if you can just continue coming back to your center and your alignment, and then you're like, "Ooh, this feels really good, I'm gonna follow that." And like, "Oh, that feels like I'm gonna be trapped or limited or stuck, I don't wanna do that." Right? So just constantly coming back into, yeah, I hope you do go back into content creation as well. Um, from alignment, from inspiration, from like, "Hey, I get to just be my best self, I get to show up and be who I am in any given moment." I don't need to worry and overthink about what are people going to say or is this the right thing? Is this good enough? It's just all the noise. And that's definitely what I've been working on silencing is like slowly clearing out that noise to come back to like, hey, the whole reason I started any of these was just because I wanted to share and help. So let's come back to that and realize I can do that in any way. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So I really hope that each of you can, yeah, take something from this and whatever you've been maybe feeling limited by, or in whatever ways you've maybe been feeling kind of trapped and small, break through. Like, this is the moment to shatter that and to choose something different, to allow yourself to show up more fully, to allow yourself to just be seen and to do the things that feel good for you, regardless of external feedback or regardless of the outcome. It's like the more we just show up and live from love and follow that excitement, follow that alignment, the more things fall into place for us because we are in our natural state and we're in our best place with our gifts and our purpose. So, the more you can just be your true self, the more you'll see things fall into beautiful alignment around you. And that is going to make life so much easier. So, um, wherever you may be living a lie right now as well, I hope you can, yeah, reflect on it, question on it, and see in what ways can you allow yourself to be more seen and to show up more fully as your true self. And with that said, before or right after this hits the 30-minute mark, I'm gonna leave this here. Thank you all so much for watching. I love all of you. Please keep your eyes peeled. I have some really cool things that today I'm like, yeah. I feel so inspired, so excited to bring it to you. So many cool things I'm going to be creating within this community. So I cannot wait to share all of that. And I will see you all on the next video. Bye. Thank you for watching.